Hello everyone, welcome to today's video. Today we have a very special guest with us tonight, Dr. Akanksha Nag. She secured rank 15 in NEET-PG this year and a rank 39 in INI-CT this year. So we are very excited to interview her and welcome Dr. Akanksha.
Welcome. Hi.
Thank you so much, sir.
How are you? And so a brief, just an introduction about her, that she left AIMS surgery. She had actually got an All India rank 9 before, but she again prepared to get a better, she wanted physiology actually, so she again prepared. And in these 4 months, she again was able to secure an All India rank of 15, and again a great achievement. First to start again in the first place, and then again achieving what she has already achieved. So congratulations, Akanksha.
Thank you so much, sir.
Yeah, so we'll get on with the interview. And so I'd like to ask you, how was your strategy? So you left surgery, I think, in December, and after that you had around 4.5 months to prepare for this exam. So what was your strategy for that exam?
So my previously NEET was supposed to be held in March. So actually I had decided a 3-month strategy that I will do 2 revisions. One revision would be based on a test and discussion. And then whatever I would highlight in that notes which I had made, I would just revise it 10 days before the exam. Because exam got postponed, I was able to finish 3 revisions and then a last revision in the last 7 days.
So you did revise the entire syllabus in the last 7 days?
Yes, sir. Because I feel that in any exam, it is important that you brush through all the 19 subjects in the last at least 7 to 10 days. And it's very important that what you're going to read in the last 7 to 10 days, you have already compiled and highlighted it or added it in a separate notebook during my revision period.
Yeah.
Would you say something like we're not actually preparing for the NEET-PG or the INI-CT? We're actually preparing to be able to revise the syllabus in the last 7 to 10 days?
Sir, could you repeat the question? There's an audio problem.
I'm saying that, would you say that the actual last 7 days revision is so important that we are not actually preparing for the NEET-PG exam? We are revising again and again so that we're actually able to revise in the last 7 days so that we're actually able to...
Yes, sir. Definitely, sir. Because the kind of questions which determine rank, I feel like there are in any paper, even if it is AIMS or INI, they have 3 sets of questions: the easy questions, which are your banking questions; the moderate level questions, which are the application based questions, which you have to apply the concepts; and I put image based questions also in those category. And the third ones are the difficult questions, which nobody should attempt. If they'll cost you a rank in negative, you have never heard of it. So when you will revise the things, and you will understand that it is the same topic in which you're making mistakes. Like I had done very silly mistakes in my exam. Even in this INI, I had done silly mistakes, and even in NEET. So I think that is where revision comes into picture, because the same topic has to be revised again and again, and we should not be overconfident कि ये आता है तो exam में आ जाएगा. Then you make mistake over there.
Okay, so for revising in the 7 days, what was your strategy? There are 19 subjects, first, second,
Yes,
third, fourth, prof. So how did you divide material? How will you revise each subject from where?
Sir, so my primary notes were Marrow. I had read from Marrow notes, and I agree that Marrow notes are very, very extensive. But when I had actually started my preparation in 2020, when COVID lockdown was there, so and exams got postponed for a very long period of time, so I was able to finish the entire notes. And I had done previous year questions also at that time, so I knew which topic is important. So that is how I funneled down the information, so that in my first revision, the things which I read were less as compared to what I read in my first reading. And then subsequently, I funneled it down depending on what I was able to remember, what I was not able to remember, what I was able to apply, I left it, and what I was not able to apply, I had to add it in a 20th notebook.
So what was your 20th notebook?
Sorry about that. Yeah, so would you say that while the Marrow notes are extensive, if you're actually able to funnel them down, then
yes, sir,
source which is good for being able to revise, but by themselves they probably are too extensive to be able to revise in the last 7 to 10 days.
Yes, sir, they are very extensive. Even my seniors had told it, but I still went with Marrow because I had done majority of the final year subjects during my final year from Marrow itself. Okay. So because I had done it previously, I knew that if I'm going to read it again, it will not take as much time. And but I agree with it that many people are not able to funnel down the information, and then they get absolutely lost कि हम लोग अब first revision 3 महीने में कैसे करेंगे, हम पूरा syllabus कैसे complete कर सकते हैं 7 to 10 days में. So I feel that they should, depending on how their approach is towards the exam, if they want more concise and crisp notes, then whatever platform they feel is suitable for them, they should take it.
So for test and discussion, in the last 3 months, so you said that you took test and discussion for the last 3 months, and you narrowed and concised your material in those test and discussions so that you
Yes.
could revise it at the end. So what do you think, how was the TND helpful to you?
So TNDs are structured in such a way that they will touch upon every topic which is present. For example, in radiology, they ask very basic questions, but even in those basic questions, people make mistakes. And that is exactly what I wanted, that I should be able to solve those basic questions and not make silly mistakes, because in NEET, making silly mistakes causes it makes a very big difference as compared to INI.
Okay, so again, next question I would want to ask, so how many questions did you attempt in INI and NEET both individually?
Sir, in INI, I was able to attempt 196 in this exam. In previous exam, I had attempted 188, which were like, with the questions I had left, I had no clue about it. I found this paper I could attempt more, and so I attempted 196 in this year's INI. For NEET, I had attempted 198. There were 2 questions from PSM which I had not heard about, so I had left it.
So yeah, I think even Aditya would agree that a high attempt number is a mandatory requirement for a good rank.
I think I attempted in my AIMS exam, I attempted 190 question. Rishabh, you attempted, I think,
At 193, I attempted 193.
And you also attempted in both the exams, be it this one or the last one, you attempted 188 and 190.
Yes, sir.
Basically, I think I will like to explain this concept right now that, see, it's fully possible that you have revised that topic and even on the exam day, and I think Akanksha will agree on that, you will get confused. It's easy to get confused between the options because
Yes, sir.
the people are given memory. Even if you're able to eliminate one option and if you're able to eliminate 2 options, you should definitely attempt that question.
Yes.
Attempting more questions, just by the law of probability, you will get 3 right, 1 wrong, and that negative will be covered up by the 2 or 3 right that you have gotten by the law of probability. So you should definitely try to attempt as many. Definitely, if you want a top 100, top 200 rank, attempt of more than 180, 185 I think is mandatory.
Yeah, agreed. Okay, so next I would like to ask you, so did you use first aid for your revision in your MBBS or throughout your preparation?
Sir, I have 2017's first aid. So that is something which I had purchased when I was in my second year of MBBS. So I had read first aid in my second year of MBBS because I liked the book. It had concise whatever I had read in my first year and second year, and I used that book to prepare for quizzes whenever I used to go to any college, any other college for quiz. So I wanted a brush up of the entire preclinical subjects. So I used first aid for that. For the entrance exam, I had used first aid for biochemistry and specific aspects of pharmacology, which I thought were again very vast, given in the notes. Like just 2-3 days before the exam, I wanted a glimpse of all the carbohydrate cycle, and even pharmac. I wanted specifically the autonomic nervous system and CVS are asked very much in detail in NEET, and even in INI they asked it. So I needed a brush up of those topics. So for that, I used first aid.
I think even Rishabh would, even everyone who has used first aid in one form or the other, and can definitely recommend for biochemistry at least. First aid is like almost complete. It has distilled down biochemistry. Even Rishabh in his video where he explained how to use first aid, he used this example of carbohydrate only. That metabolism in one page is given in one way. So you're actually able to revise not using 10 pages or 20 pages. In one single page, you're actually able to brush up with everything that is available there. So for biochemistry, at least, first aid is an excellent revision resource.
Yeah, because biochemistry, in my opinion, is a unique subject, which is vast, which is scoring, and which is, it is tough. So these 3 things is biochemistry, and so it requires a last minute revision according to me. And I think first aid, in my opinion, is the best concise resource for that.
Akanksha, you talked about the 20th notebook. So me and Rishabh essentially had a use first aid as a 20th notebook along with another. So will you elaborate on the concept of 20th notebook?
Sir, like 20th notebook, my 20th notebook used to comprise of my silly mistakes, most of it, because I know that I can solve moderate application-based questions were not a trouble for me. My trouble were those silly mistakes which I was making, and silly mistakes in commonly asked topics. So that is where I used to add it in my 20th notebook. And I used to add any facts or numbers, because during my INI, we had a direct fact-based question of uterocervical canal ka length. So I didn't know at that time, I had to leave that question. But then when I was preparing for this exam, whenever I found that maybe this dimension is important, especially in surgery, the organs dimensions are important. And luckily a question came on prostate volume. So I was very happy with it. So the numbers, the facts, PSM, a lot of tables in PSM, specifically that environment section is not much asked in AIMS, but NEET is its favorite of NEET. Environment wala chapter, and then last May there's chapter of public health and international health. So those are the questions where NEET picks up a lot of topics from, and those are extremely fact-based questions. So those were the things I used to add in my 20th notebook. Majority used to be facts.
So another question I want to ask you, and this is something a lot of people ask me. So how do you see from the previous year questions, and कि कौन से important topics हैं? Like how do you analyze previous year questions and use them to prepare your entrance examination?
So I think every topic which has been asked in previous year question, you have to do it from your notes. I see a lot of people who are preparing for central institutes go and read it from standard textbooks or up to date. So that is not required. You can read it back from your notes only, because that much is sufficient to give you even a single digit rank is possible for that from your notes. So that is where I used to do the topic, see whatever topic they have asked. For example, I had made a mistake in HIV ka question during my last INI CD. So this time I ensured that when I was reading HIV from PSM or the NACO program, I did it only from my notes, but I should be thorough with it. And then again, this time a question was asked on PCP prophylaxis, the cutoff and everything. So that was my approach. Previous year questions play a very important role in AIMS, because previous year questions automatically become a banking question. You can't do them wrong. Everybody will be doing it. And you can't just make a question wrong because you did not do a previous year question or the topic which was asked previously.
Yeah, so I think to summarize that in any PG entrance exam, the breadth of knowledge is important. So like you need to revise what you already know again and again, rather than like get into a particular topic in depth.
So my question becomes a bit more specific. So a lot of people like right now would be like, okay, so first and second year हम लोग first aid में हमें पता है कितना concise revise करना है. Their confusion will stem in especially the two major big subjects, medicine and surgery. What was your revision strategy as far as these two subjects?
So medicine, I agree, in Marrow is like extremely vast. It spans 2 volumes of so many pages. And what I had done is like the topics which are core medicine, which is not overlapping with patho, pharmac, microbiology. I used to do it from medicine. For example, management of an arrhythmia, or these things. It's a new hot topic, that directly acting oral anticoagulants. These are very hot topic. Even the management per se, which they are asking in a lot of detail. Even in GI, like in medicine, SAC, serum ascites, albumin gradient. Now, this is something which you will not find in any of the other integrating medicine subjects. So for medicine, I had only done 4 medicine topics, which you will not find anywhere else. For surgery, I think Rohan sir's notes are very well concised in Marrow. So you can read the notes entirely. And if you want to revise it, it should be general surgery, more focused on general surgery, trauma and GI surgery, because they are asked repeatedly in the exam. So surgery is very doable from Marrow, because Rohan sir's notes are very well concise and they have a very good strike rate. I had all questions correct in surgery in NEET from what I checked in recall. And for medicine, the core topics.
Basically, your strategy essentially was that medicine you will do what is not there in path and pharma. And
yes.
You will essentially distill down the notes to a point where it is just core medicine. कि arrhythmia कर लिया, कहीं और नहीं दिया.
हाँ.
DOAC कर लिया. Previous year topic से देख लिया कि क्या-क्या बार-बार पूछा जा रहा है. You just do that. And surgery may be stuck with the Dr. Rohan Khandelwal's note because they
Yes,
are
sir.
precise and actually can be revised in the last 7 to 10 days.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so what about minors? Minors के लिए क्या किया?
So for minors, minors again, I had to rely on topic-based approach only because minors are again given extremely like it's so much in marrow. They have given a lot of things in detail, but that is some they will never ask treatment for CA larynx, or they will never ask how do you treat a maxillary CA or a angiofibroma. Max to max, they will ask you is just diagnose. They'll give you a case-based scenario and they'll ask you to diagnose it. So I used to see the previous year topics and that's it. That is what my approach was. And for optal, more than knowing the depth of theory, it's important to know the images because they even NEET also these days has started giving direct images of the fundus or any condition of the eye and they ask you to make a diagnosis. So optal should be more focused on images rather than knowing the theory that much in depth.
Would you say the test and discussion gives you a concise and precise notes as far as short subjects at least are concerned?
Yes, yes, they will give you that. For Dermat, I had used Saurabh Jindal sir's notes. So they are very, very concise and to the crisp. For psychiatry, I had actually used Sachin Arora sir's notes. So they were very crisp. Because when I'm saying in last 7 days, I should be able to revise on 19 subjects. I mean that all the short subjects I should be able to revise in 1 day. So it has to be that crisp that you just take 2 or 3 hours and you're brushed up all the important things in Dermat, like the kits and all in the last day. Is very much doable.
I think me and Rishabh, we actually had this thing that हम लोगों ने list बनाई थी कि डर्माट में आखिरी दिन मीना खन्ना की images देख के जानी ही हैं.
Yeah.
Images देख के जानी ही हैं. And psychiatry में एक बार जल्दी से किसी एक पेज पे लिख लिया सारे के सारे defense mechanism की एक बार just आखिरी दिन में brush up हो जाए. Everyone should have a revision strategy कि आखिरी 7-10 दिन में what is your lacking उसको पढ़ के चले जाओ because easy questions को गलत करोगे तो rank कभी नहीं आ पाएगी.
Yeah. Okay. So a lot of people now are obsessed with grant tests. So how many grant tests did you give, and what is your recommendations regarding that?
Sir, I used to give grant tests from DAMS and Marrow when I was preparing during my internship. This time I had only 3 months, so I just gave few GTs of Marrow which had gone live. My main aim during these 4 months was that I have to finish the entire syllabus at least once, or else I'll not be confident to mark the answer. So the GT should be like the way Marrow has planned GTs, it's very apt. Like they have 2 GTs per month and the app interface is good. So it becomes very easy to review the GTs, and the questions of Marrow GTs are very, very standard. Little lately they had made the GTs too easy because in last GT I had 191 correct, which is like too good to be true.
Yeah.
So
yeah, even I would agree. I think I gave only 1 GT during my prep, and
yes.
I think that 2 GT, maybe 2 GTs, and I think that would have sufficed my knowledge कि अच्छा मेरे ये lacune है, and I need to work on that. And I would agree. मेरा focus was कि I need to complete the syllabus completely, and that would give me more confidence than giving GTs.
I also did just one, if I remember correctly. एक ही GT मैंने ढंग से दिया था, and that was also just like 10-12 days before the exam. कि एक बार तो देख लेते हैं full syllabus test क्या feel होती है. Focus, like you said, should be on completing the syllabus and revising the syllabus rather than कि GT में क्या rank आ रही है. And obviously, बहुत आसान GT होगा, like you said, तो 191 उसका कोई point नहीं है basically.
Point नहीं है. So GTs just they'll give you a lacuna and they will give you like the endurance, like you know how to sit in a 3.5 hour exam. बहुत से लोगों का पेपर 2 घंटे में 2.5 घंटे में हो जाता है, but I used to ensure कि the 1.5 hour which is still remaining with me, I am brushing through all the questions, but at the same time ensuring I'm not changing my answers. A lot of people change their answers when they review their entire paper again. So if it's a fact-based question, you should never change your answer because it comes from a gut feeling, and your gut feeling comes because you have revised it so many times. So it comes reflexly. If it's an application-based question, okay, maybe you did not read except the question mein, not the question mein. Maybe you picked up some other hint. Like this year, we had a question on leptospirosis. So they had, like the case scenario was very confusing in NEET, but they had given specific pointers like calf pain.
And conjunctival suffusion that they are giving.
Yes. Yes, so that is something which I saw while I was reviewing my paper. So that is when I decided, you know, like the symptom complex fits in the diagnosis of leptospirosis and not a dengue hemorrhagic fever. And that is when I changed my answer. Or else if it's a direct fact-based question where they're not asking interpretation, just ratta mara hai, you are just marking that answer, it has to be, never change that. It comes from the gut feeling only, which comes with revision.
So if you have to give, like, let's say 3 advices to anyone who's preparing for November INI CET, what will it be?
So my revision would be to them would be that if they are giving the exam for again, like not the first timers, they should ensure that they start doing previous year questions right from the first reading, which they will start now onwards. And by previous year questions, you have to analyze it, and you have to read that topic again and again. You should approach the image-based questions also quite seriously. And whatever images they have, you have to download it in your iPad and make a folder and go through it again and again. Because we find images are also easy, but exam mein we get confused. Ki aspergillus hai ya mucor hai. And INI AIMS will never tell you ki the given image shows obtuse angle branching or acute angle branching. AIMS will just directly give the image and tell you to diagnose it. So for that also, like it should come reflexly to you ki this is nothing but aspergillus because it is septate, it has acute angle branching. So that will happen if you're going through your image bank, which you have curated personally in your iPad. At least, before you sleep, you can just brush past through those images. Hardly takes 5-10 minutes, but it's good.
Yeah, even I remember in my phone I had made separate folders for each subject, and I had organized it.
I had done this for fractures, I remember.
It helps. Yeah.
Everyone, what all three of us essentially are trying to say is कि जो जिसका जहाँ पे जिसको लैकिंग लगता है उसका एटलीस्ट एक इमेज बैंक तो बना के रख लो ताकि एंड में रिवाइज कर पाओ.
Yes. So that is the first advice which I would give, because I see a lot of people start doing PYQs in last 7 to 10 days, so you will not be able to cover it. Secondly, I advise my juniors to solve previous year questions of AIMS from 2015 onwards, because in my paper, when I had given it in July, there were some 10-15 questions directly from 2015 paper itself. So
I will advise कि 1-2 साल और पुराने भी दे दो, because AIMS का क्यू बैंक बहुत उन्होंने बना के रखा हुआ है, वो उससे ज्यादा आसपास उसके ऊपर नीचे जाते नहीं है. AIMS can actually be 30, 40, even up to 50% repeats, frankly.
Yes, this time there were less repeats, but during the July paper, I think there were 40-45 repeats, which is like a very huge number.
Third.
Yeah, and the other thing would be like the freshers who will be like those who are interns right now, especially in Delhi, because they will be eligible for the November INI. So they should focus on finishing their first read, and they should have at least 2 revisions before the exam, and they should ensure that they are clearing their concepts as they are reading their notes. And for the people who are giving it again, I think for them tests and discussion would be good, because they are revising the same thing again. So a different approach, like you make mistake and then you go back and read that topic again. Because when we make mistakes, it kind of hurts your ego, I always feel. And then when you see that question again in the exam, you will never get it wrong, thinking कि अरे मेरा GT में इतना simple question wrong गया था. And this used to happen with me while calculating GCS, because I have a bit of math phobia. So even while calculating simple GCS, I was making these kind of mistakes in my grand test. And like just the mock I gave before my exam, I had made this question incorrect. So I ensure that if GCS question comes in exam to calculate, I will just ensure I'm doing it properly. So that is what it helps.
So basically your 3 things will be: first is to make sure that you're actually able to revise. The second is focus on previous year questions. And the third will be कि अगर कोई फिर से देने वाला है तो वो should
test and discussion. Chalo, I think that summarizes quite a bit of the PG prep, and it was very nice talking to you, Akanksha, and hearty congratulations on achieving a great rank. And
in the end, I will clarify to a lot of people, like people will be like कि AIMS में मिला था क्यों छोड़ा, seat-based things like that. See, she had the opportunity because of her rank. She worked so hard to get that rank, and she got the opportunity. And it's okay to leave a seat, very frankly, because हम लोग अभी 22, 23, 24 years old ही होते हैं, and it's okay that we think that it is our actual branch, हमको पसंद है, but we realize we want something different from our life. तो उसने किसी की सीट वेस्ट नहीं की है, वो अगले 6 महीने बाद फिर से आ गई है, and she was able to do it again. Appreciate her grit, appreciate her determination that she actually left a seat in AIMS and gave the exam again to get her actual desired branch, जो obviously उसने हो सकता है इस बार देने के बाद उसने realize किया हो. So appreciate her effort, appreciate her determination, appreciate her grit. And again, congratulations, Akanksha.
Thank you, sir. At this time, I would like to say that when I came to AIMS, I met so many great people and great minds. And it was looking at these people, who gave me the courage that, okay, I can leave a branch if I don't want to do it, and I'm happy to do it. I've seen a lot of seniors in AIMS who have left what they've not liked and worked hard again after 6 months, gotten an amazing rank, and they have taken whatever they have wanted, and now they're very happy with it. So that is something like AIMS gave me that opportunity to meet such kind of people, and then I could take this decision because it was so normalized at AIMS and nobody took it like a stigma. So that is something which I'm very grateful for the institute for, and all the opportunities which I had when I was at AIMS.
Yeah, even I agree that AIMS is pretty open in this regard. We had one of our seniors who had dropped multiple branches from, I think, medicine to derma to surgery to nuclear medicine.
उसने पहले डर्मा ली, उसने वो डर्मा छोड़ी, उसके बाद ऑप्था ली, उसने ऑप्था छोड़ी, उसके बाद नेक्स्ट टाइम उसने थर्ड अटेम्प्ट नवंबर में फिर से दिया. This time he did not get a good rank, but नीट में उनकी थर्ड रैंक या सेकंड रैंक थी, तो टुक मैमसी में रेडियो ली. ज्वाइन करने से जस्ट पहले मे का एग्जाम दिया, उसमें रैंक 5 आई, फिर एम्स में रेडियो ली. यहाँ पे स्टोरी खत्म नहीं होती. एम्स में रेडियो लेने के बाद फिर से एग्जाम दिया एंड वांटेड टू टेक
19 रैंक गई
है ना. 19 आ गई एंड पीपल वर लाइक कि कब छोड़ेगा एग्जाम देना. said that nobody was ever against कि इतने एग्जाम्स क्यों दे रहा है. Nobody ever was like कि ये क्यों कर रहा है. People like ठीक है, maybe he's confused. वो लेकर आ पा रहा है ना इतनी बार रैंक, उसका मन है, कर सकता है. He has the capability and he has the potential to do it. So why not? किसी ने ये चीज पे स्टिग्मा नहीं किया कि एम्स की सीट छोड़ दी, हाय क्या गलत काम कर दिया, something like that.
Yes.
Like that.
So chalo Akanksha, so welcome to radiology. I hope you like it. It's a very good branch and it's very fulfilling. And in case you have any queries regarding this, so we both are always available.
Thank you so much, sir.
Chalo. Okay. Bye bye.
Bye, sir. Thank you so much.